So, like I said, I will continue just to make videos, and even if it's things they do or have done before. You see this video, you see this title. This is actually one of my YouTube channel. Go check it out and see what they've done. You see, the saddest part is seeing this kid, especially the little girl over there. You see how awkwardly she is that kid kind of broke my heart a little bit, because they tell him to do that, and it's just sad. Look at her, just like standing there, like kind of awkwardly, like just I think she almost ran into the farm. But it's so sad. She's like maybe 8 years old, maybe 7 8, between 7 and 9, around that. It's so sad. And it really kind of, when I saw the picture of her, it made me feel like sad for her. It's just like there was like a kid about her age there, this goofy kind of little kid, but he's little bit more like turbulent, right? He's just like a just and say things. But this kid was just like, it was just so sad, right? But of course, they start making me experience some nasty ass things toward this kid, and that's why I made this video. I was like, look at these things. The way they're making me look at her. Oh my gosh, sexual is. Ugh, it's so disgusting. And in my mind, it's even worse. So thankfully, I took a picture of her, because if, let's just say, I saw her and there's no picture, oh my gosh, she would try to create some disgusting things. And then they try to make me imagine, like, just to make me feel feelings that they say that you'll feel like this, if like that, if you were like a kid around their age. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, but it's girl, remember? And then try to make me think of, oh, but you remember when you play mom and dad with a girl? I'm like, oh my gosh, when I was like about their age. And it's so sad. Like, when I look at that picture, it hurts me. This kind of that this kid hurts my, because she's like, you can see she's just like, she's feeling uncomfortable. This baby. And they're like, oh, you think little girls are cuter than oh my gosh. And they were trying to compare the cuteness of this dude. I don't know if it's the bigger brother or somebody, just a kind of goofy, turbulent kid, just like a big, and her. I was like, you guys are nasty. But that one thing is for sure, that when I'm seeing her, like, it just kind of hurts me, but it's just kind of, it's sad. It's kind of sad. It's a little sadder than see the big, like, goofy kid that was like about her age, is like, oh, like singing, in these different ways. But they are trying to get this back and forth, and they're trying to make me imagine, like, see that, you see how you feel like that, and then try to make me imagine your coworkers when they see you, and imagine that it's about the same age of their kids. I'm like, they have these dialogues in my brain, which I know is them. It's like, oh, we caught you, and there were kids playing in the hallways, and then when those kind of thoughts started, they stopped. And then when it's like, we got it. We caught you. And they go into this like, they're like gimmicky. They literally are like children, and they literally use children to have these gimmicky ways of thinking. And then you hear this person, it's like, oh, you're melting away. Tell me that this direct energy is melting me. Well, yes, that's what this technology can do. You melt children away too. Do you want to listen to what you guys do to kids with this radiation? Or you've heard enough? And she used this like voice that's just this tonality of like, we're gonna do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people really think in these gimmicky ways gonna make me subscribe. Yes, I'm gonna be hurting and suffering. Just like you guys do that to children, women. Stop trying to live your little fantasy of reality. Your tone of voice is not gonna make me accept this nasty manipulation, make me experience, because you start talking all of a sudden, yeah, you're gonna die, and then you're gonna melt away. You do the pedophilia type of torture, you trash ass. Target individual. These people, for me, they are using a psyop, a tonality, a way to just try to sound like mistakeful, and if I talk to. Now I understand. One thing is for sure, they've seen me suffer, or they will see me suffer. But one thing is for sure thing is, they are doing this pedophilia type of torture, and then try to use this gimmicky voice, which to me I find it gimmicky, because I can see through it. It's just imagine, like, also then I do something that's obviously being manipulated and forcing it onto you, and just start talking. Yeah, they're gonna see you like that. They're gonna die. Yeah, you're melting away. Well, duh, because you're using dark energy. Yeah, but I'm saying that because I want to distract you. And I want to use these repetitive scripts to disorient you. And that's why I'm speaking in this tone of voices. This part of my gimmick voice. because what you just experienced and you thought as yours. Are these gonna cut you in pieces? And they go on and on like that after they do these things. To all my target individuals, for me, sometimes this is gimmicky. Now they're rating the crap out of me, of course, but they've done that to so many others. And then immediately when I'm obviously saying that's like, oh, get out of here, leave. Get out of here, leave. With this menacing voice. Clowns that torture and radiate children. Stay strong, target individual. Stay strong. I'm telling you, the psyops is what it is, a psyop, a way to try to accept these things. They're going to use tonality. They're going to try to sound a certain way and talk like that. But when you look at them, it's like, and you shake your hand, you shake your head just a little bit, just like, they are like, oh shit, he's not going with this BS. He's not going. I look at them, it's like, I look through this trash. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're gonna die. And they're like, oh, you use her hand, huh? Clown. Try to then talk about me in 8th grade. Try to talk about that and try to create with their fantasy or exaggerate things. Try to just go around. It's like, no, I'm talking about what you guys do to 7-year-old kids. No, I'm talking about the 3-week-old babies that you guys radiate to death. Or not to death, but radiate. I'm talking about the 9-year-old you blinding. Now, I'm talking about the 4-5-year-old kids that you torture sexually using this technology. Now, I'm talking about the 3-year-old child that you torture, aiming this technology toward their testicles. Now, I'm talking about the 13, 14-year-old kids that have been going through these terrible things where they even blind them, you decay their teeth. Yes, that's who I'm talking about. Remember? Delusional trash.
The summary of the Senate torture report disclosed the disgusting revelations that in the secret torture prisons the targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't want it. I don't want it in my...
I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture of the people around me, and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes, even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequently someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence and grotesque figures and
they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing. And then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals,
were not physiologically normal or possible without external manipulation. It is not physiologically normal to just have repeated spontaneous orgasms all through the night like that, literally one right after another. And then it all made sense when I learned about microwave weapons. In 2015, I began to experience what some call V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent.
It's awful. There are some examples that BuzzFeed gives, and like you said, only one actually served any jail time for this. One employee had sexual contact. This is one employee of the CIA had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So,
Quote.
wow. Okay, here's more from this, and we'll finish this and then move on to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. But sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening for whatever reason with more frequency in our intelligence agencies, or is this something that is more pervasive in the general population than I originally realized? I mean, what's going on here? This is so bizarre. Remember, it's so evil.
Allie, we're told, and when I was put through recruitment into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind those computer screens within the walls of Langley, within the Pentagon, and throughout the broader intelligence community?
Until you're part of the team. And why would you want to break down the ego of that person? To rebuild it. So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality spies, and information couriers, people that will carry messages to other places without being aware that they're actually doing it. So you can imagine the misperception that is caused by this. And a lot of people, the targets when they're interviewed are tricked into believing evil aliens have abducted their brains, demons.
They're tricked.
Yes.
How are they tricked? Pardon this brief interruption, but I want to take a minute to talk about this incredible longevity genes. The downside is as we age, NAD declines. When I found out I could naturally increase my body's activation of sirtuins and naturally activate my...
And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, were Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very